Hey you. Yeah, you. Remember when I made this video a while back where I followed hell for 1,000 years and watched how the world slowly actually became more normal? That was a lot of fun. But you know, I was thinking, what if I just did that exact same thing again, but like with just more hell? So then I created this, presenting Super Hell. It is quite literally exactly what it sounds like. The entire world is just full of lava. Scorching hot, piping lava that will literally kill anything that touches it. And yes, I know that there are very obviously a few holes in here in the lava, but the reason that is because lava doesn't actually function like a solid block. When you put it down, it rains down like this for some reason. So that means it actually took a very, very long time to just fill up the world with it as it is. But we are going to be following this slice of hell for 1,000 years, and over this 1,000 years the lava will slowly begin cooling down, and when that happens it will slowly turn into rock. And don't worry, this won't be like my 1,000-year videos where I follow nothing but mountains, because when you follow those, creatures cannot walk on them, and if they touch them they just explode for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but when lava cools off it turns into the hills, which creatures can still walk on, making room for some very interesting stuff to happen. But of course, like usual in videos like these, we have turned on just about every single world law possible to hopefully ensure that maximum stuff can happen, because otherwise, you know, looking at a bunch of lava cool off for 1,000 years wouldn't really be that interesting, at least not to me. But the most important world law of all, like usual, is the natural disasters, which will allow meteors and earthquakes to happen, which will hopefully shape this world into something interesting. But you'll also notice one more world law, eternal lava. I will eventually turn this world law off, but I'm going to leave it on right now because it would be pretty lame for me to just turn it off and then all of the lava immediately disappears. So for now, it's going to stay. But with all that said, let's just click unpause. Yeah. Riveting gameplay right here. This is totally what you guys signed up for, I bet. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and make the executive decision and time-lapse a bit all the way to year 250, 1/4 of the way there. And honestly, I haven't tested any of this. Literally anything could happen. Right now, the World Ages calendar is only on the Age of Hope, but once again, we will be changing this later. I just want to see what happens with absolutely no changes here first. So I will see you guys at year 250. And here we are at year 250. You'd be surprised at how much lava here lags your game. But as you probably noticed during that time lapse, first of all, our world looks absolutely insane. Like genuinely, this is one of the coolest world structures I've ever seen in this game from one of these videos. But also, you'll notice that in these earthquakes that went down, there were kingdoms here. Like not too long ago, this kingdom literally just got destroyed, as we see in the top left. Which, you know, is kind of annoying that there were kingdoms here, because, you know, in my videos like this where I left water alone instead of lava, it took a lot longer to make kingdoms, which kind of pisses me off because, you know, water is kind of like the foundational thing necessary for all life, while lava is, so I don't know, pretty much the exact opposite, and yet somehow kingdoms could form here. Not to mention that, but look at the trees. Like, what are we talking about? Trees in here? Like, there's no water. Some of these trees here are literally floating on top of nothing, and on top of that, they have to be on top of sand that is literally boiling hot, like melting hot right now, and yet somehow creatures could live here. As a matter of fact, 3 creatures are currently alive here. Let's see who they are. And I'm going to take a wild guess at what kind of creatures they are. Crabs. Yep, they are always crabs every single time. Even a couple of sapient crabs too. Can't believe they spawned in. I mean, crabs literally will live anywhere, won't they? We had some other cool earthquakes up here that went up, actually creating really cool structures. This is more of what I thought I would see, but no, it's this. This feels like a crime against nature. Like, even just looking at it feels wrong. But despite all of that, this has already been very interesting, but I've also noticed there's been a lot of depth. And listen, just look at the world. I don't think you have to be a genius to probably guess where these deaths came from, but let's still check them out real quick. 168 crabs who were cooked to death, burned. That actually sounds like pretty tasty. That doesn't sound too bad. And also some from hunger and eaten, but now that I'm thinking about it, creatures eaten, there's only been crabs. Just more crab cannibalism. It's very typical in these videos for some reason. And 8 deaths from explosions. I'm not even gonna ask. I have no clue how that even happened. I just want to point that out. But at this point, if I just continued the video from from here, pretty much more or less the same would happen. So let's begin changing a few things, but I'm not going to cheat and actually do anything on the map. We're going to change some world laws. I guess we could probably get rid of old age and hunger to, you know, stop the crab cannibalism, because that's probably not helping anyone. But also finally get rid of eternal lava. This means that the lava will finally eventually begin cooling down. And like I said, it'll turn into land that creatures can actually walk on, potentially making the biggest kingdoms we've ever seen in these videos before. And along with that, we're going to change the world calendar too. We're going to go with 2 Age of Chaoses, 4 Age of Tears so that everything cools down, and then, you know, 2 Age of Wonders, because why not? So even though this may be like the weirdest calendar you've ever seen, it's going to be extremely effective. And still, there's not really much else to look at. We are going to continue now to year 500, which is halfway there, and I'll see you guys then. And here we are at year 500, and just take a look at the world now. In that 250 years, so much has changed. We have rivers full of lava directly next to full ocean lakes. I guess when you think about it, it does make sense, because the islands over here were kind of just empty void areas, kind of like empty lakes. So when the Age of Tears showed up, they eventually filled up, creating what looks like this. This could almost be like an album cover almost, for a very crappy album. Like, I wouldn't buy the album if this was the cover, but I'm just saying it could be. It's got potential. And if anyone does want to use this as an album cover, just contact me at this email, and then, you know, we can discuss some business and some royalties and all that. Thanks. But something else I just noticed is trees on rock. What? I've never seen this before. Like, even in the other videos where mountains showed up, I do not remember this happening. How are there trees on the hills? This looks so trippy. It's like a piece of abstract art here. Like, I have no clue what's going on. But obviously, with the mix of the Age of Tears and the lava being able to cool off, we can now see that the massive lava ocean has, like, I would say nearly halved in size. But also on top of that, because of all this limiting space now, I'm not completely sure if we'll see any more kingdoms pop up. But as I'm looking at this now, as new earthquakes hit, they're actually going to be affecting the hills over here, which means that they will end up creating soil like we've seen with this recent earthquake over here, meaning the potentials for life and other things are actually pretty high right now. But speaking of life, we have just 1 sapient creature and 4 mobs. Of course, they're all crabs like usual. Interestingly, looking at this crab species right here, they have a very interesting trait of the crab metamorphosis, which means when they die, they will eventually turn into crabs. The issue is they're already crabs, so they just live forever essentially, right? I think we've had this issue pop up before. Yeah, this video is a weird one, isn't it? Very weird after all. But if you see over here, we actually have our first biome, the wasteland biome. I'm not quite sure how it popped up, probably some dumb subspecies trait that I missed at some point. But that's interesting, so at least we know we have pollution. That's fantastic. But as for now, yeah, that's about all that's going on. But to be fair, that was a lot going on. There have been a few new deaths, most of them from burning, but a couple of them are from creatures eaten, even though I turned off hunger. Just doing it for the love of the game, I guess. Anyway, I've been over here too long. We're not changing a thing, and now we are going all the way to year 750, 3/4 of the way there. And let's see what the world looks like then. And here we are at year 750. The world looks more or less the same, although changed, but there is one main difference I see. Trees everywhere. Literally every single square inch of this world is covered in palm trees. And the pollution trees, I did not even see this, holy crap. It's like a nuclear wasteland over here. This is weird. And you know what the worst part about all this is? There's only a little bit of the pollution biomes. Like this one tree right here, this little tree caused all of this. That's actually crazy how some of these world laws work. So pretty much we have hell up here in the north. Well, I guess it's all hell, but you get the idea. And then we have the slightly less hell down here with, like, you know, water and stuff. And, you know, to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure if this is better or worse than some of my past outcomes, but I think it's pretty safe to say that no one was expecting this to happen, and we still have 250 years left. Luckily, most of the world is no longer lava, although it's still very prevalent. And there are now 7 sapient creatures. I'm assuming they're still all crabs, but let's check. Oh, we have a couple rats here too, sapient rats. I guess it's from the pollution biome. It kind of makes sense. There's nothing really special about them, except for, I guess, the fact that they're inherently stupid, which is kind of funny. And you know what's even better that I haven't even thought about in this world? There's been no explosive grabs. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you haven't seen like my past videos, it's probably for the best. They've ruined many a video. But that is essentially all that's going on right now. I would be pretty happy if these guys could form a kingdom at some point. Like, surely they have enough walking room up here that they could form a kingdom, but I guess only time will tell. We have 250 years left here, and once again, anything could happen, but I will see you guys at year 1000. And here we are 1000 years later. The world still looks more or less the same, but compared to when we started, it looks absolutely terrible. This is extremely, like, really ugly to look at. If this were to be an album cover, then it'd probably be like the band's 4th album when they kind of fell off and they're not as good anymore. But still, a lot has changed, and one of the main things, like, I noticed is that, like, the border between, like, these two different types of trees are kind of the natural borders set by the earthquakes. Like, you'll see on the left side right here is the palm tree territory, but on the right side here is the pollution tree territory, which is how a lot of things work in real life too, like even with people in their kingdoms too. But I'm not really sure why I'm trying to make like a philosophical, geographical statement right here. This is worldbox. At the end of the day, this video was very weird. Like, honestly, state of this world, at least in terms of people living, was unironically better when there was a ton of lava killing everybody. So the moral of the story is hell's not really that bad after all. Is that really the moral? Is that really what we took away out of this? Man, that's kind of sad. Oh well, I guess we'll end it there. But anyway, if you're still watching at this point, clearly I did something to entertain you. So I'd appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe, and also join my Discord too if you don't mind. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.